Feeling frustrated about getting your ARRT accepted continuing education. Too much stuff going on in your life, just not enough time, the calendar and due dates sneaking up on you. Then there's work, we all have to go to work. And there's time, no one ever has enough time. On top of that, we have to worry about our family, our spouse, our kids, the dog, and of course the cat. Nobody wants to take care of the cat but you. You never have enough time to get your continuing education done, and usually it's not very enjoyable. And we've all been to those boring continuing education seminars where you have to take a day off or spend your weekend going. Always takes up a lot of time. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not, but they're just not very convenient. If a seminar doesn't work out for you, you can always go online and order a book. They're usually a giant textbook. And the big problem is a lot of them are 30 plus credits. Who really needs 30 credits? Most people only need 24 or sometimes even less. Then you have to wait for the book to get delivered to you. And we all know that sometimes it just takes a while for that book to show up. Then there's online continuing education. Unfortunately, most of them are just simple PDF files. They usually don't have graphics. A lot of times they don't have any images. They're just a giant flat PDF file. Nothing really spectacular, nothing terribly enjoying. Sometimes not even as good as a good old textbook. Something to think about if you're getting your continuing education from an online vendor that's just going to give you a PDF file. A lot of them will never tell you the file size. That's kind of concerning. Things you have to worry about is if the file is too big, it'll take up a lot of room on your phone, your computer, or other device. And if you're trying to take the course at work, a lot of the hospitals won't let you download it. So that's something you have to worry about, and it's going to slow your device down. With FastCE, you don't have to download anything onto your computer. It's just like a regular browser, just like web browsing. There's no downloads. We're not going to take up any space on your device, and we're not going to slow it down. Okay, we're going to pull the curtain back a little bit about PDF files. Unfortunately, there's vendors out there that aren't going to use Acrobat Professional, the Adobe Acrobat Professional, to make their PDF files. They'll use a free or a very cheap PDF writer. Unfortunately, with that, you're going to have some problems. And maybe that's why a lot of them won't give you a demo of what their stuff really looks like. Things to worry about with PDF files, especially when they're not using Adobe Acrobat to create their files, is that sometimes it'll work on one computer, but it won't work on another. It might not work on your tablet. Might not work on your phone. These are things you have to worry about. That's why you really need a demo. And if they won't give you a demo, you need to think about why. Another reason you want a demo from somebody if they're just giving you a flat PDF file, even if it has pictures, can you zoom in on the text? Can you read it? If the font's not a standard font, they decide not to use a standard font, sometimes you end up with text that looks like this. It's unreadable. It's hard to read. It may have looked good for them, but not for you. The other thing is the text fuzzy? Is it actually readable? Sometimes you'll find that the text looks something like this down below. You can't read that for an hour and do well. It's just not acceptable. Another thing is when you complain to the vendor, they say, oh, you need to change the resolution on your device. So now you have to figure out how to change the resolution on your device and then set it back when you're done. That's really a problem, especially if you're going back and forth between reading the course and going back and using your device for other things. Something you should always check is look at the FAQs. If they say you have to have a certain resolution, that means there's probably problems with the file. Something else you have to worry about is how are you going to get the test? Some of the vendors, believe it or not, are still just using paper tests. They're going to either send it to you through the US mail, they're going to email it to you, they're going to let you download it. But however they get that test to you, then you have to print it. If you can't print it, then you can't take the test. If you can't take the test, you're not going to get your credits. Something else you have to worry about is how are you going to get the test graded, especially if they gave you a paper test. Well, you could always fax it back. Who has a fax now? Most hospitals have a fax, but if you use the hospital's fax, are you violating hospital policy, and could that get you in trouble? Another thing you could do is you can send it by U.S. mail, but how do you know it's going to get there? You probably need your credits now, so you could send it registered or certified, and that's a lot more money. Send it by U.S. mail is probably not the best answer. Some of the vendors will let you take a picture with your cell phone. Things you have to worry about when you take a picture with your cell phone. Are you getting the entire test on one picture, or do you have to send multiple pictures? Also, can you see the answers? Can you read the answers? These are things you have to worry about when you're using a paper test. Now, some vendors are going to let you go ahead and email your answers back and forth. We all know email's not perfect. Sometimes things don't get there. So that's another thing you have to worry about. If you're going to have to email it back and forth, and then even when you do email it to them, how many days is it going to take after they get the email until they get your test graded and you get your certificate? Another thing you have to worry about, depending on the vendor, is when are you going to get your certificate? If you're going to have to mail it back or email it or fax it, and it's a Saturday or a Sunday or a holiday, when are you going to get your certificate back? Are you going to get it back in time? Worrying about when you get your certificate is a real pain. Nobody wants to have to deal with that. With the FastCE system, as soon as you complete your test, you've got your certificate right there. With the FastCE system, it doesn't matter what type of device you're on. As soon as you take the test and complete it, it is automatically graded by your computers and made available for you to download immediately. Something else to think about when you're looking for a vendor for your online continuing education: are the certificates secure? All of our certificates are locked. We have a unique system for locking the certificates so you don't ever have to worry about the certificates being copied or any type of fraud. It's also easy for auditors to validate that your certificate's good. If you want to find out more information, go to the FastCE.com website, go to free videos, and look for secure certificate. The FastCE course player is very unique, especially in the fact that it will automatically reconfigure itself to give you the best visual environment that you can have depending on the type of device you're on. It's automatically going to change. You don't have to do anything. It'll work on a PC. It'll work on an Android tablet. It'll work on an Android phone. It'll work on a Mac. It'll work on an iPhone. It'll work on an iPad. It'll work on all of these devices. It automatically will switch itself. If you want to learn more about how this works and all of the neat functions that are available in the course to make it better for you, go look at our FastCE player on the free video page on the FastCE website. Why should you choose FastCE.com? We're going to let you see the final test questions before you start taking the course. It's the exact same system that if you go to the ASRT magazine, you're going to see the final test questions before you start reading the material. We also use quiz questions in the course. They don't count against you. They make sure you know the material so you'll pass the test. We also have a course search tool. We also have a unique course player. Please try our demo. I think you're going to enjoy it. There's no downloading of files. We're not going to slow your system down. You could take your test online. There's no charge for retests. You print your certificate as soon as you pass the test. There's no charge or waiting for reprint certificates. You're a professional. You deserve a professional quality CE experience. You need something that works on your device of choice. Try our demo at FastCE.com. Thank you for your time.